sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. All right, check it out, guys. We back in the building. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk Live Daily. Had to get that Q&A thing out there. Sorry about that, guys. And already, first in the building, Mr. Spooks. Good day to you, sir. What's up with you, my man? Queen Lisa Bell's in the building. What's up with you, Queen Lisa? Appreciate you coming through. So, today, guys, today's topic is future British stars. Guys that can bring Britain in the right way. You know? Tate Powell, what's up with you, son? We're gonna talk about the guys that's chilling. Queen Lisa said, "I'm chilling, D." No doubt, sis. It's a good thing to be doing. You know, chilling sounds relaxing and happy. All right, let me put this link in the chat, man. Yeah, but anyhow, we're talking about British boxers. Boxers that will bring the British boxing back to glory, you know, future. Once these stars, the British stars go away, now these guys are going to be taking over. We're going to talk about these guys. Boxing Monster in the building. What's good with you, fam? All right. Boy, I be so busy every morning. Tell you guys what. Carlos Mendoza, what's up with you, Carlos? All right, got it. Andre, what's up with you, Andre? Andre in the building. I see you out there, fam. Appreciate you coming through. Drop this link in the chat for anyone who would like to come join today's discussion. Click that link. As you guys know, 4 on the panel. Pretty much first come, first serve. We got Andre, Dennis McCann. Appreciate you, Andre. Tate Powell said, what up, Lisa, Carlos Mendoza. My man Ross Clott in the building. What's good with you, Ross Clott? Salute, Queen Lisa. Salute, D. Salute to you, bro. Okay, so yes, sir. And as you guys know, I see already we have a couple of people adding into the prospects, the future guys. And there are some guys that you know, maybe I should have put as honorable mention. And there are some guys that probably I don't know about or I missed or haven't mentioned. But as always, I comprise a list for us to discuss. Now, if there's other guys we can bring to the table to Speak Your Mind Sports Talk, speak your mind. So we may bring other guys into the conversation. It doesn't have to end with the guys that you know, I've comprised a list of. Of course, as always, these guys are on the thumbnail. So you guys know who we're going to be talking about. I've also hashtagged them in the description. So if you guys haven't seen the description, then you could, you know, take a peek at the description. But that's what we have these discussions about. I mean, I have to come up with something for us to talk about. And, you know, I have to do my research on the guys that I don't know much about, which I generally try to stick to what I do know to keep it interesting. I don't want to be caught too much off guard. But these are the guys that I have on the list. And, you know, guys that I've noticed the things that they're doing, and I believe they have the potential to, you know, bring British boxing to another level. These guys can be the stars. They can go around. They can beat guys in other countries, in America. These guys are the future of British boxing, especially Daniel Dubois. You know, there are things that he needs to work on, but he's still young, which means there's a lot in front of him. He can bring a lot to the sport. He seems to be dedicated. He seems to be in the gym and intending to learn the sweet science. So the guy can run the heavyweight division. You know who runs the heavyweight division in boxing? They run a lot. They got a lot of pull, a lot of say in boxing because the heavyweight division is the most popular division. So these guys here, Archie, Josh, Sonny, Joshua Buatsi, the other Josh, Jordan, Cordina. So guys, these are the guys I decided to talk about. And, like I said, if you guys have someone else on the list, that's fine. We can talk about them. But today is Joshua Buatsi. He's on the list. Future star, British boxing, Josh Kelly, Joe Cordina, Sonny Edwards, Archie Sharp, Daniel Dubois. That is who we're talking about, guys. These are the guys that we're talking about today on Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. All right, so that's what today's discussion is about, these guys. So again, click the link. Come join the panel to give your input on today's discussion. For now, I'm going to get to the chat. My man Boxing Monster said British boxing is like the minor leagues. North America is the Mecca of boxing. Look, man, cut that out, dog. Who's the heavyweight champion with the most belts right now? Who? Who's the number one prospect in the heavyweight division? Who? British boxing. Stop it, Boxing Monster. It's relevant. No, don't be doing that to British boxing, dog. Don't do that shit. See, that's the type of stuff that happens with Japanese boxers. People, you don't give the proper respect, Boxing Monster. I won't tolerate it. Shiz Bizz in the building. What's good with you, dog? AA Boxing and Blunts, what's up with you? Said Lee McGregor. You know what? McGregor, I was looking at Lee McGregor, but I just need to see more from McGregor. He was actually one that I thought about honorable mention, but I do know about McGregor, AA Boxing and Blunts. He's nice. I like his movement. Like I said, there were a couple of young prospects, and you guys will probably mention them. But one, the amount of work that they've put in, which McGregor fit into that category, he ain't really put enough in yet. He's only 8-0, you know what I mean? So I did take a look at him though. AA Boxing. I did take a look at him. So yeah, time will tell. Time will tell for him. But I do agree, McGregor looks good. Lisa says Shiz Bizz and Blunts. What's up? What's up? What's up? Carlos Mendoza, my man Carlos Mendoza. And here we go. I'm biased. And biased boxing talk. Josh Kelly is trash. I'm biased, man. Come on, bro. Don't play the chat, bro. I need this episode, this show anyway, Speaking My Sports Talk Live Daily, needs somebody on the panel anyway. You and Lawrence, y'all got a lot of boxing knowledge. Come share with the people, man. People need to hear you guys' minds. They always hear my mouth. They need to hear your minds too. I need a discussion on the panel. Y'all two click the link. Anyway, Unbiased says Josh Kelly is trash. What's good, my man Lawrence Williams? I was just talking about you too. Pablo in the building. Boxing Monster banned me today. Well, you're back in. Boxing Monster won't ban. Big ass prison, I see. Look, Boxing Monster, this goes out to you from Pablo. And don't be bad at Pablo, Boxing Monster. He said, Boxing Monster banned me today. Boxing Monster. Straight from Pablo, Boxing Monster. You idiot. You idiot. Don't be bad at Pablo. Oh, shit, man. Okay, that's good, man. So, all right, Pablo. I appreciate you coming through, fam. Boxing Monster, cut it out, man. Leave Pablo alone. He's good people. He's good people. You idiot. Boxing Monster crazy. All right, guys. Let me see. Kelly is a disaster waiting to happen. Okay, look, part of the discussion. I have Kelly up here for a reason, though, and we will get into that discussion as soon as somebody clicks that link for the day's discussion. I need two of y'all because this ain't no Q&A. This is a full-blown discussion today. Miguel in the building. What's good with you, fam? Appreciate you coming through. Shiz Bizz says Kelly ain't got the power for that style. I kind of agree with that. He lacks power, and which is one of his big issues. What the hell? I don't know. But anyway, Iron Cone in the building. What's good with you, Iron Cone? Get this smoke. What's up with you? Get this smoke. I see you backstage, my brother. All right, Smoke. You come on the stage with the bells ringing. Yeah, go on mute, dog. We talking about the British. They got all the belts at heavyweight. Yeah, I know. I was just responding to somebody who was like, that I felt was giving a little disrespect to what they bringing into boxing. So they bringing a lot into boxing. So I agree with you. Hustle for VA in the building. What's up with you, Hustle? He said, got the news, anchor drip going on. I see. Yeah. Lawrence Williams, Unbiased Boxing. Everybody showing peace to each other. That's what's up. Bredrick Iron Cone in the building. Pablo said, how's the guy? He's a funny dude. Yeah. Smoke, you good? Your mic good?
I'm not sure. So give me 1 second. Let me get to the right spot.
You sound good now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to a spot that I know is gonna be good. So just give me a couple seconds.
Okay, fine. That's cool. So Andre says, laugh my ass off. The year Canelo might be fighting Anthony Durrell. Here's the thing. Anthony Durrell, and even Anthony Durrell's name being thrown into the pot, like it's like we can't really jump at too much with whose name is being thrown into the pot for Canelo. It's just another possibility. Murata was just thrown back into the pot when he was removed. He's been thrown right back into the pot because of the financial side of it again. And so when you look at these things, guys, we can't jump at everything. Canelo fighting under Durrell, I don't like it. I think it's a waste of time. Like with Murata, fine, I'm better with that fight than Durrell. Canelo beats Durrell. I see no point in him fighting Durrell, and I wouldn't support that fight. But to me, it's just another name of the list of names thrown into the pot for Canelo. So, it's to the point now where who's going to fight Canelo next? I feel the same way about that as I feel about what Bob Arum tells me. When the goddamn fight is announced, then I believe it. That's how I feel about who's going to fight Canelo next. And with Bob Arum, I don't care what he say. When the fight is announced, that's when I believe it.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to make money for DAZN coming back for COVID. So one thing we do know, an Andrade fight wouldn't really make sense because he don't really got much of a fan base, and just the selected few of people on YouTube that became his fans out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, fighting him not going to bring much to the table when it comes to money.
Right. So Pablo got 10 different accounts. Andre's name is BR. All right, Pablo. Well, Pablo, under this account so far, Monster hasn't trolled here. So if he starts trolling, Monster, you know what to do. Pablo, don't be trolling over here. I'm giving you a break, bro. Well, you just know that Monster gonna be watching you. So if he kick you to the curb, dog, for trolling, you know what I mean? That's why look, guys, we're growing. Speaking my Sports Talk family is growing. So I have a lot of wrenches, but I have a lot of wrenches for a reason because we're looking down the road. I'm not looking at 1,200. I'm looking at 12,000, 120,000. So the 50 or 60 wrenches I have now is going to be nothing when we have that many subscribers, right? So, guys, if y'all start getting kicked out and y'all doing crazy stuff, then understand that, like, they're there for a reason. That's all I can tell you. So, you know, I'll do the research if you say it was unjust, but I can't spend too much time with that. So, thank you, Unbiased, and get this smoke for joining the discussion. I'll put the link in the chat for everybody who's out there listening. We get ready to crank it up. One more seat on the panel. That's it. I am going to start sticking to that so that we don't go over, because I want to keep these at a certain time. So, guys, top British boxers. And look, guys, there may be people, you guys in the chat, there may be people that you would like to think Kelly is on the list. True that. And we can discuss those guys. We're going to go over the guys that I came up with. We're going to discuss that on the panel. And I keep seeing McCann's name. So maybe we're going to have to talk about McCann as well, because I keep seeing his name and people think he's the future. Look, some of these guys, I've researched it, and they don't have enough fights behind them, which is why I really didn't put them on the list. They look sharp. You know, I think they look really sharp, but they just don't have enough fights behind them. So they didn't make my list. But we can talk about those guys. But we're going to start with Sonny Edwards, brother Charlie Edwards, which Charlie already won a championship. We know that. But both of these kids look good. And you know, this last fight with Charlie, he got hit while he was down, so it ended up being a no contest. He technically didn't lose that fight. But his brother looks good. Maybe not as sharp as Charlie, but he's looking good. And look, he's young. He's coming up. We can't expect everything from these kids right out of the gate, you know. But we have to look at what they're bringing to the table, where they could potentially improve, and what they're doing, like their habits. What are they doing to improve? Are they looking better fight after fight? Are they in the gym? Are they training? Are they dedicated to the sport? To be honest, you know, just I see these things in both the Edward brothers. And so these guys can both go up. And if they do and continue to win, I see these two kids, you know, being future stars of Britain. So, unbiased or biased boxing talk. I'll start with you, fam. What do you think about Sonny Edwards? You there, unbiased? Get this smoke. You there? Make sure y'all mics are right.
I mean, I'm here, but I think I may be breaking up.
No, you sound good. Smoke. I told you that the last time.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I don't know too much about Charlie, to be perfectly fair. I mean, his brother, a couple times. Yeah, I don't know too much about him. I haven't seen anything out of him that made me think, hey, let me follow these guys.
Right. Okay. I mean that's perfectly fine. Josh Kelly is weak, pure trash boxing monster. Unbiased, you back yet? You back there? If Yarde adds a proper trainer to his camp, he could be a world level. He could be, but I don't have him on my list because, one, I don't have any faith at all in Yarde's trainer. I don't have faith in Tandy, especially when you're his only sparring partner. That's not smart. And ain't nobody going to convince me that that's going to get it done to bring him to world level, only sparring Tandy. That's a big no-no for me. And that hinders Anthony Yarde. Huge. So I have no faith in his coach to bring him to world level. That's number one. Two.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, this kid looks promising. He's a southpaw, right? This kid.
Yeah, Sonny Edwards. Yeah, I believe so. I believe he's southpaw. Don't get me the line.
He fought on Anthony.
No, you know what? I think it might be his brother that might be southpaw. Charlie Edwards. Sonny Edwards, I think, is Orthodox, fam. I'm pretty sure he's Orthodox.
I think I've probably seen this kid fight maybe once. I feel like he fought. He fights for who did he fight for? Eddie, right?
I really, you know me, bro. I'm not always I'm not always into the managers and all of that shit, bro. I don't know. I'm not sure who he fights under. I couldn't even tell you that. I just know that he's a British boxer.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I seen him fight once, maybe on Anthony Joshua's undercard, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he looked pretty good. Good fighter. But I haven't seen enough of him to really assess him, to be honest with you.
Okay, so you or Smoke, we have Intangible. What's up, Intangible? Appreciate you coming through. Toby Bartlett in the building. What's up, South Korea? What's up with you, fam? So, Intangible, you usually keep up with some of your statistics and such. I know that you are a pretty detailed young man. Do you know anything, or have you seen much about Sonny Edwards? I'm sorry.
Oh, Sonny Edwards. Well, not really Sonny Edwards. What division does he fight in?
Sonny
Wow.
Edwards.
Hold on. Intangible. You don't know who this guy is?
I know that's Sonny Edwards is super flyweight.
Yeah, I know his brother. His brother is pretty much a journey. Well, not a journeyman. Nah, he's pretty much a fringe contender.
His brother was a champion, bro.
He wasn't really that strong though. Sonny Edwards, though, I don't really know much about him, honestly.
Well,
AD, I think that means he's trash. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I'm about to say it can't be trash, but see, that's the thing, This is why I'm spotlighting this, and this is pretty interesting because with you guys, especially you three guys, I thought that you guys would know a little more about Sonny Edwards, but that does say that he's not being exposed enough because he's actually a really good boxer, this kid.
This guy had a loss against pretty much a debuter, and he has 4 knockouts through 18 wins. He's probably kind of trash.
Who? Sonny?
Yeah.
Sonny he's undefeated.
No, he has a loss.
Do what?
He has a loss.
No, Intangible. He's undefeated, bro.
AD, you spotlighting bums? Like, what we doing up here?
Nah, he's 14-0. I mean, well, pull it up, Intangible. Show me. I don't think he has a loss. I think he's 14-0.
If this is the same Sonny Edwards you're talking about, right here.
Well, it must not be the same Sonny Edwards, bro. He's 14-0. He has no loss. I mean, he doesn't display like phenomenal power, but that's the thing. Everything is not about power, and I think that a lot of spotlight being on American boxers and power. I've seen the kid fight. Like, I've watched a couple of his fights. He moves well.
Actually, wait, what the fuck? I clicked.
Center. Hold on, Intangible. He gets off center line, and he actually boxes well. And if I believe if he continues to win, he could be one of the future stars. But he doesn't have any losses. Intangible.
Oh, I accidentally clicked. The pros and amateur thing. So yes, he is undefeated.
Yeah. I know he's not a bum, unbiased. Jeez. See, that's what I'm glad that was was said here. Like, because everybody on this panel are knowledgeable boxing guys, but even though Unbiased was just joking, that's how a lot of fans look at it, bro. Because they have not heard of a guy, or they don't know much about him, or haven't seen him fight, haven't done any film on him, watched him or anything. They just assume he's trash. He could be 14-0, he could be 20-0, but the assumption is just going to be that he's trash. He's no one. But I've actually looked at the guy fight, and he has the tools. And if he continues to win and continue to build, and the fact that he's young, I look at him he's only 24 years old, so he could be one of the future stars of, in Britain.
Yeah, he fights for Matchroom. So yeah. I seen him on. I feel like I seen him on the AJ Ruiz undercard. Yeah, he's good. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he is a southpaw though. Am I tripping?
No, I don't think so. I think Charlie. I don't know. So intangible. Look up Charlie Edwards and see what his stance is. Charlie Edwards.
Charlie Edwards is orthodox.
Charlie.
I just know that by watching him.
I think they both are unbiased.
Oh, okay.
Man, Brol, what's up?
Yes.
Aob's in the building. What's up, Aob's? Let me get some shout outs right quick. I think I shouted out to you, Think Cap. Carlos in the building. What's up, guys? We got a Carlos and a Carlos Mendoza. Don't confuse it. I didn't shout him out twice. What's up, Carlos? Appreciate you coming through. Best of the best in the building. What's up? My man Ronnie Sutton. What's good, Ronnie Sutton? And Raider from LA stepped in the building. Sonny Edwards undefeated. Brother Charlie Edwards has one loss, which was turned to a no contest, Raider, because he was hit. They did the investigation and found out he was hit while he was down. Because he took a good body shot, which, his team might have complained that it was low, but it wasn't called a foul. So it was called a body shot, and it was called, it was a knockdown, but he was hit while he was down. And you can't get hit while you're down like that. So fight was no contest. So booyah! There it is.
But he was getting his ass beat that whole fight, though.
The best prospect that I know, though, is...
Well, it was a battle, but yeah, he was losing that fight.
The best prospect of them lower weights, in my opinion, is Junto Nakatani. I know we're talking about UK prospect, but that dude...
But he's Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Willie Williams, what's up with your fam? So, I don't think he's going to be the future of British boxing. But they're going to be guys, other prospects, especially in America. They're going to be other, maybe Ukrainian or Japanese prospects that may appear to be more promising to us. But
I remember actually, Sonny Edwards can switch stances. Actually, it's not just an orthodox fighter; he can switch southpaw.
Hey, intangible. Look, do me a favor, dog. Keep the thoughts in until I finish. You know what I mean? But let's keep in context that we're talking about the future of British boxing, because I know that we got other in the same weight class, other boxers that we're gonna say, well, he'll get beat by such and such, but. We're just kind of talking about British boxers. Like if we were talking about American boxers, we're going to compare everybody to America anyway. So let's kind of keep the context on British boxers. But I don't disagree with you with what you were saying, Intangible. You make a valid point. He may be a better boxer. So anyway, on to the next one. Nobody knew much about little old Sonny Edwards. Man. Jeez. Well, I heard a lot of controversy about Josh Kelly. So even if you don't like him, at least someone knows something about him. And I'll let Unbiased start off with this one because he said Josh Kelly is trashola. So
I mean,
break it up with Josh Kelly. And
he's straight trash. You know what I mean? Like he fights he fights like he has the best reflexes. He's, listen, he's not really a reflex-based fighter. He's a fake-ass Prince Nassim Hamed. He gets tagged up when he fights. Honestly, he doesn't have the power for that style. He doesn't have the reflexes for that style. I don't see him doing much at 147 or 154. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what he's trying to be, but he needs to go back to the drawing board and start over, get fundamentals down, because he was getting tagged up his last couple fights and by, nobodies, besides Robinson, that's it. Other than that, he's just not that good to me.
I agree. The guy sits in front of his mirror all day watching himself trying to replicate Roy Jones's moves.
All right, that's your breakdown for him? Intangible.
That's literally my breakdown. It's like he pretends to be Floyd Mayweather. He just sits in front of his TV, watches Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather tapes all day, and tries to replicate them. And he's just not very good at it. He's got some talent, but
he's not very good. Get this Smoke. You there, Smoke? Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. Get this Smoke. You there? I don't know what happened to Smoke. Yeah, well, all right, guys. I guess I'm gonna be the only one. You there, Smoke?
He's a bum. He's a bum, D. He's a bum.
Yeah. I'm not gonna call Josh Kelly a bum. So, like, but I will say this: you guys do make some valid points. I mean, let's be honest. His best fight, I guess, on record, you could say, was with Ray Robinson, and it was a majority draw. So, I think
Ray Robinson won.
Yeah. It's in the books, Intangible. It was a majority draw. So, I will say this, man. I agree that the style he fights as if he has power. And he doesn't have that power. He doesn't have that shocking power. That's how he fights. It's just no good. But he shows some skills. Like, he could be a fighter that could win a lot of fights on points. He may bore the hell out of you and tick some people off. But, I mean, like I'm about to say, he gets touched up. Like, he does get touched up. But he keeps coming. And so if you work with this guy and say, hey, listen here, buddy. What are you doing out there? You don't have power. we gotta work on some things here. You need to fight with your, what fits your attributes, and power just not it. And I think that's a big deal with Kelly. I wasn't getting ready to defend him on a level like that. But guys, again, remember, unbiased shout out to you. He said he doesn't know what he's going to do at 147, and I agree. But when we look at the landscape of 147, and Kelly's just turning 26, right? So who do you have? You have Virgil, but he's probably going to be gone soon. You have Boots. He won't be around for so long.
Bro, Boots and Virgil iced this dude.
Yeah, but but look, my point is they won't be here. So, like I'm saying, like, he could do some things at 147 unless you can bring names up. Now, there are some names that's going to move up, and then it would be interesting to see him fight those guys. Like,
who got to beat him?
All right, then fine. We'll just stick with this. Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor ice him. Regis Prograis ices him.
Maybe.
Danny Yarusinov, another prospect.
I can't say that because these guys have not thrown or taken a punch at 147. And it's the same cliche. The cliche goes over. And by the time they get there, he's already have fights in. So I'm just saying, guys, I hear what you're saying. But look, again, let's keep it in context. This is not the British boxers versus the world. I'm just talking about these guys in the context of what they could potentially do for British boxing. And you guys know you don't always have to fight all the best people to be marketed as a star either. Tank Davis, per se. Don't even get me started. So
Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, Deontay Wilder. So let's just put things in context that the future stars of British boxing, and he could fit the bill if he keeps winning. Okay, not beating Spence and Danny Garcia. Like I said, if he keeps winning, let's keep things in perspective. Yeah, I don't think that he's the greatest boxer out there. There's plenty of welterweights that can beat him. But outside of Josh Kelly at the welterweight division, British stardom, future, the kid being younger, who do you guys have? Who would you put in front of him?
Oh, to become a star?
I mean, let's go around I want to go around the panel and ask that question and get this smoke. Whenever you get back, you can join the conversation. But who do you have, Unbiased, to put in front of them? British. Let's keep it British, and they could bring. Oh yeah, that's a good boxer, Unbiased. How about you, Intangible? You have anyone else at 147 that could bring it in? That could possibly be a British star?
I don't know, actually.
All right. And see, that's what I want to kind of keep in context of this discussion, because we can down him and say he's trash and all this, but the thing is, like, who could be the next British star, the wave to bring it in? You know, whoever these guys are with, whether it be Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Barry, whoever they're with, and how they market them is going to be the key. What fights they put them in is going to be the key. If they can turn them into stars or not. Well, if we're going to assume that they're going to fight all the best fighters, then he'll take some losses. But if they're trying to turn him into a British star, they're not going to take him on that path just to put him in there with an Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford or something like that. They're going to get him to beat some names, and if he can get through that, you know what I mean? Look, it appears you're back.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, man?
All right, so Josh Kelly, what do you think about Josh Kelly? And if he could be a future British star or whatever.
A future British star? I think he is a British star now. I think he's probably as famous as he's gonna get. All right, he can still be around for a while.
Let me rephrase the question then. So that a British superstar. So for everybody else, it'll be future British star. For Smoke, it'll be a British superstar in the future.
Okay, so does he have to be British or can he just be from the UK?
Yeah, we're just focusing on young British fighters. It's only British fighters, not American, not Japanese, just British fighters.
No. What I mean is UK, like Scottish fighters, like Taylor.
Yeah, UK fighters, British fighters.
UK fighter, all right. So yeah, nah.
I got Josh Kelly. I got guys on the list in the UK. So
okay, cool. Right. So just clarifying. So yeah, Josh Kelly being a superstar, nah.
No, so you don't see him being that. Okay, and what do you think about boxing and everything else like that? He's going to smoke.
What do I think about his what? Sorry, what do I think about his what?
I say his boxing and how he performs and everything. Like, what do you think about Josh Kelly? You need to.
I mean,
up.
He's all right. All right. So, wow.
That translates to he's trash.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Smoke having technical difficulties this morning.
Yo, my bad. I'll say Daniel Dubois, and I'll say, are you specifying just weight class or doesn't matter?
No, I got okay. Daniel Dubois on the list too. I think.
All right, so I think Michael Connellan also, because he could be Michael Connellan. He has a big following. He's Irish, right? Or he's from Scotland. Where is he from?
Hey, I'm by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you, bro. We got a list, though. I want to get you guys. Let's move to the next dude, because you guys, I guess everybody is with Josh Kelly. Hey, what's up with you, fam?
Stop lying to the fucking fans, mate. Yeah, we know what you're fucking doing. Just stop it, all right?
Guys, we got the troll of the hour. I don't know, bro. He got me good. He came on with 8 hours. All right. I think get this smoke. You got your mic right? Get this smoke?
Hopefully. How's that?
Yeah.
Sounds fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man. I was interested in him. And there was a fight, I want to say like a year ago, something like that, 6 months, a year ago. Let me pull up his thing. Just give me a second. I can remember this fight.
All right, well,
and if you want to go to somebody else.
Yeah. While you pulling that up, Smoke, I'm going to go ahead and move on and see if you guys change your mind. And again, guys, we're not talking these guys being the top of boxing. That's just for British boxing. Joe Cordina, bro. Where the hell is Mark Unrivaled when you need him?
Right.
What do you guys know about Joe Cordina?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you say, Smoke?
Yeah, I was just saying, I was co-signing your thing about Unrivaled. We could even use AA or even Tommy Temper. Where's it? Or even Eric.
Yeah, Eric. Zorro's 2 times. Because
I'm familiar with this guy.
Okay,
I've seen him before.
Right. It's the Ray Robinson fight. Okay, yeah, now I remember exactly. Yeah, that Ray Robinson fight. Say again?
I said I did mention that fight, but yeah, go ahead. Intangible.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought that I thought he lost that fight. That is really what it was. Yeah, no. I'm saying I thought he lost it. Not like I was watching the fight and I thought he was gifted a draw in that fight.
Right. A lot of people did.
It was, yeah. It was one of those fights on that card that was like, yeah, I believe Katie Taylor also got kind of a. Anyway, I think he's all right. I just think he's a little. I think no, I don't think he's gonna be a star. He's a good-looking kid. He's solid all around, but nothing special.
Right. He said, ThinkCap said Kelly could beat Khan, and that would help. That would help. That would be a name. That's how they build stars, beating guys like Khan. But he could build some British stardom, but not really beat the best. But yeah. But anyway, Intangible, go ahead and take the floor with Joe Cordina, and then I'll go to Unbiased and Smoke. Go ahead and crank it up.
I didn't see Cordina's last fight, but I've seen a couple of his fights. He looks solid. He takes pretty solid angles. Good puncher, good body puncher, counter puncher, things like that. Decent foot speed. I mean, he's not great defensively, but I think he's solid.
And so, your perspective on, and of course, granted, he keeps winning, and he's not as young as the other guys, but he's in the smaller weight class, so these guys can go a little further, a little longer. But if he keeps winning, what do you think about him? Just winning belts, having some titles for Britain. What you think? Future star.
He doesn't have a lot of great name recognition, so it's kind of tough to tell, for me at least. But maybe he could get a fight with Warrington or Kid Galahad or Carl Frampton at super featherweight. And if he wins one of those fights against a guy who's pretty known regionally, maybe even Elise Selby, that would help him a lot. So there are some guys that do surround him in his weight class. He fights at super feather, I believe, that he could beat in order to establish his name. But I don't know. I don't know if he just keeps beating the level of opposition he's fighting right now, he becomes a star, because I don't hear about him a lot. At least
he doesn't. But he's got to get more fights under his belt. Let's remember, guys, these guys are prospects. They don't have a great deal of fights under their belt. So, and that's why they're prospects. They just hit in the pros. I mean, he has 11 fights, so we can't expect him to have, Anui resumes in 11 fights. Like, we can't expect that. So, but with what he's done so far, I like him. And I think if he keeps moving and fighting, and see, guys, let's not get used to the American culture either, because a lot of these countries don't move like the American culture. They put these guys into fights. They have them active. So they're going to move ahead and progress a lot quicker than what we see, or a lot sooner than what we see these American fighters do, because they're not fighting. They're not doing it. And I keep all of that in perspective when I look at these young British fighters, because we all know they'll take two young fighters that look good and they'll put them in the ring together over in the UK. And you can really get to see how these kids are developing and what they're bringing to the table. They're not going to do that in this culture. They're going to fight them twice a year and milk the fights and delay it and marinate it and whatever other adjective you want to use, which is the American way. So I keep all of those things in perspective. And when I look at Joe Cordina, yeah, he hasn't fought the biggest names yet, but I look at film study on the kid and he looks really good. He's winning, and he could be. I believe he could be a future star.
Yeah, I don't know who he's fought or fighting. Like, I don't know their background and how good they are.
He's fighting pretty much regional level opposition.
Okay.
Right. He's fighting
the British circuit pretty much. So, yeah. But he's looking good in his fight. So I'll tell you that much.
That's what I'm saying. I'm fighting. Looking good.
Yeah, he kind of gives me glimpses of Cambosos a little bit. Like, he's very explosives in his punches, but he doesn't have the power. You know what I mean? But the way he delivers his punches is pretty.
He's got great lateral movement too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I noticed that, and he sneaks that uppercut in there.
Yeah,
it's nice. Yeah, so he's good. He's a good fighter.
I don't think he's quite as aggressive as Kambosos, honestly.
Right? Yeah, I agree to that. Yeah, he's not as aggressive.
Yeah, he's not.
Kambosos, actually, you should have Kambo. Is Australia technically?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. But
Smoke, you know anything about Joe Cordina?
Yeah, I think yeah, I've seen him on a couple of undercards. He's good. He looks good. He just what is it? He throws his punches like he's a power puncher. A little bit.
Yeah.
You know, he takes these. He's kind of. I'm not quite sure what it is. Maybe it's like slow hands. Or maybe just the way he processes things. I think he's just a gear too slow for the division. Maybe, but I don't know. The way he throws. But it's I don't know. It's also his level of opposition hasn't been there. He's on his way up. I think he's only had like less than a dozen fights. Fewer than a dozen fights. Sorry, I don't mean to downgrade his competition, but that's what you're supposed to fight on your way up. The way that his shot selection is good. It's just his hand speeds is a little slow for me. His feet are a little slow, and just the way he processes information is a little slow.
I don't think his foot speed is slow. His hand speed isn't amazing, but his foot he's pretty fast on his feet.
I like his counter. I like that pullback right he lands. It's pretty nice.
I think he's going to be a timing fighter once he gets it all worked out, because I don't think he has the physical attributes to be anything else other than a timing fighter. He's going to have to let another guy lead. I don't know, but maybe he has deceptive power that I'm not seeing. But to me, he fights like a guy who's supposed to have more power than he's got.
I agree to that. That's why I said he throws his punches like explosive, but he just doesn't have the power. You know what I mean? So yeah, I see that.
All right.
Some guys don't actually ball up a fist when they throw up a punch, or really transition their weight very much so that they can get as much speed from their arm as they can. Right. Some guys just slap with their shots for speed, like Floyd used to do that a lot.
Right.
Yeah, it's not that he
had came from lower level fighters. It was like in his debuts, he's gotten into these 12-round fights and fought higher level competition, and he's taken them to decision. But he's won them unanimously. But I agree with you guys on the power thing. And it's something that I actually see in many fighters, not just these young BK fighters, but I see many fighters do this. They fight as if they want to have power, or as if they have power, but they don't possess that power. And I think that's just I think adjustments can be made, because when I look at the other things that he does them well, and like adjustments can be made. And again, like, you don't have to knock everybody out to win fights. That's all I think. I think there's other things you can do to win fights. I mean, Floyd, after his hands went brittle, didn't really knock people out, but he was winning fights. So you gotta box, you gotta get in there and box, and this kid can be okay. Samuel Shaw in the building. What's good with you, fam? Appreciate you coming through. So moving on, fellas. Link back in the chat. I think and Less Intangible fell off, so someone can join the panel. Room for one more. So, oh boy, here we go. Damn, that picture's kind of low. Well, sorry guys. Sometimes I can't always get away. But anyway, Archie Sharp. So, Archie Sharp is another kid that I think, could be a future star for Britain. He's 18-0. And first, let me ask you guys this, because I guess I keep striking out. It would have been, where my UK fans? South Korea, where you at? Eric Ferdinand, Zaro's 2 times. Oh my gosh, I got a lot of you guys. Y'all need to be up on this panel because I know you know more, but I'm biased and get this smoke. You guys know about Archie Sharp? Or I'm biased. Smoke. You guys there?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm looking him up right now. Off his name, no, absolutely no idea. But I'm sure I've seen the guy fight. But I'm sure I've seen him fight. Just give me a second.
He fights on BT Sports, right? I feel like I've seen him fight.
Yeah, and again, guys, let's keep in mind, like these guys are not they're not coming up in first in the American media. That's first and foremost, and then like it's British boxers. So, I mean, that's basically all I could say. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
like they ain't gonna be plastered everywhere, but
he's decent.
I'm looking more at. I've looked at all of these guys' fights. I will say that I've looked at least 2 or 3 fights from all of these guys. Okay, and so I'm determining a lot of what I see them do in the ring because we have a lot of guys that's in the American media that are getting all kind of credits, and they literally have not fought competition too much better than any of these guys that I'm talking about now. And Ryan Garcia is definitely an example of that. He hasn't fought better competition than these guys, but he's getting all kind of praise. He can do this. He can be Tank. He can whatever. And so I'm looking at these guys in that aspect because, yeah, they haven't fought the best level of competition. I get that. And we can keep bashing them for that. But again, neither has Devin Haney, neither has Ryan Garcia, and we give those guys credit. So I look at what I've seen from these guys in the ring, and the guys that I have on this list, they look pretty good in the ring, and that's basically what I'm judging it on. And you know, the assumption is if they train well and they get to those American fighters and they can produce the way they've been producing, the same way if Ryan can produce, the same way if Devin can produce. I'm looking at these guys in that aspect. Because again, like it's a world sport. We don't know who any of these prospects are until they prove that they can or they prove that they can't. You know what I mean? So Archie Sharp is one of those guys. I took a look at, you know, what he can do in the ring, his level of competition. Yeah, he's a domestic fighter, and that's what we're talking, domestic level fighters, but we're talking about what they can bring to UK boxing at the domestic level. And when I look at Archie Sharp and what he's doing out there in the UK and how he's looking against his opponents, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, the fights that he has that are unanimous, he's winning comfortably. And if he's not winning comfortably by unanimous decision or points, then he's TKO and he's putting the guys out of there. So with that being said, I think that, again, if this kid keeps winning when he steps up to the next level, I think that Archie Sharp could potentially be, you know, a future star for UK. So Smoke, unbiased. You guys know anything about Archie Sharp?
Yeah, I seen the kid fight. I feel like on a Daniel Dubois card or some shit like that. He's decent. You know, I mean, I agree that he's, you know, definitely UK domestic level.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. You know, if he crosses the seas and fights, you know, somebody, what weight class is he again?
That I don't know. I think that I think he's super featherweight. These guys, a lot of these guys, these prospects that are promising guys were smaller guys. I looked at some of the other guys and I just looked at the division.
Isn't he a champion?
And they wasn't as you know, they weren't as big as no, that's a European like domestic title. I don't, you know what I mean? It's not a world title, so it's a domestic title. So when they have that, like even if someone here got it, like Ryan or one of those guys got a little domestic level belt or something, I'm still going to consider them a prospect until they collect a world title. You know what I mean? So it's not a world title that he has for it. Yeah. So anyway,
let me just say, I've only seen Archie Moore fight. Yeah, I've only seen Archie fight once. And he was all right. He's a prospect. Like, these are prospects, and I wasn't really rating him when I saw him. He just seemed like a real green guy. I liked he seemed to be okay against his level of competition. He got some good skills, kind of a miniature Devin Haney a little bit.
Yeah, he had pretty good skills. Gets off to the line.
Wait. Miniature Devin Haney.
Well, I don't know what's
he loops his shots. He seems to be like kind of tall for the division. He's got a lot of looping shots. He's like, he's pretty good off the back foot.
And I will say that
it's just his stature and the way he fights.
He stands upright. Yeah.
Devin Haney, and I said this before, I think he has, some looping shots. So looping shots thing, I'll give the smoke. I'll give you that smoke. But was you finished, Smoke, on Archie shot? All right, Smoke. We got you. You out in the woods and shit. So come back to dry land, Smoke. All right, guys, man. Now, unbiased, I'll let you start with him, and I already know you know stuff about him, right? So, So, Joshua Buatsi. It's up and coming, UK boxer. Who's eating
Oh, my bad. No, I'm counting something. My bad. Go ahead.
It's kind of like a bag of chips. It's a light heavyweight guy. He's a big guy. What do you think about Joshua Buatsi, unbiased, for the future of BK boxing? I know I don't have to go first on this. I'm pretty sure you and Smoke know something about this guy. Or Smoke, either one of you.
Yeah, man. I think he's a talented fighter. You know what I mean? I think he just needs to be guided correctly before he gets in there with like a Bivol or better beef. I mean, he knows this himself too because he said it. So but I definitely think he has a bright future. Very talented, good skill sets. He just needs to hone on his skill sets a little bit more, be a little more defensively responsible. And yeah, man, I think the future is definitely bright for that kid. He's a very talented fighter.
Yeah, and Smoke, are you back yet? Link in the chat for anybody who wants to join the discussion too. If you know something about your UK boxers, we still got room for one. I think Intangible had some technical difficulties there. But Smoke, is your mic fixed? Smoke out in the woods today, unbiased. All right, guys. So Joshua Buatsi, I think the kid's promising. I mean, to tell you the truth, he looks sharp. His knockouts, although he's not fighting, he's also domestic level, but his knockouts is at 83%. He's like 12 fights and he's got 10 knockouts. He's fast, but like unbiased said, he's moving on the right track. It appears that he's moving on the right track. His head is in the right place. He knows that he can't step up and beat these guys already, so he's not yelling out nonsense. Because some of these fighters really believe, these young fighters really believe that they can beat these guys. Say like Teofimo Lopez. And I wouldn't say that Teofimo Lopez is talking reckless. He really believes he can beat Lomachenko, but Buatsi knows that he still needs some time. But from what I've seen from him, and also guys, just looking, he definitely has room to grow, and he has a lot of good attributes. with him now. And he's a bigger guy, which you guys know the light heavyweight division definitely needs some life. I would say that, right? So he could definitely be a future star of Britain, and the bigger guys are easier to promote. And so, yeah, I like Buatsi. And I don't know what happened to Smoke or Intangible, but I think everybody probably agrees that this guy is probably the biggest prospect in Britain, the guy that everyone believes, could take over the heavyweight division. And not everyone, because some people don't really have a lot of faith in Daniel Dubois. But, Joe Joyce, this fight that he has coming up with Joe Joyce is going to tell us a lot. I believe that Daniel Dubois, if he gets through Joe Joyce and continues to win at the heavyweight division, and Frank Bourne and those guys move him in the right way, that he could definitely be, a huge star for British boxing. Yeah, Smoke, I know your thing probably went out. Scott Brown in the building. What's up, Scott Brown? Scott Brown said Josh Kelly has the worst shoulder roll in boxing, and Teofimo shoulder roll is barely better than Kelly's. Well, Scott, you can't come up here talking about Teofimo, but I'm going to let that go because we're talking about British boxers today. Teofimo is fine, man. That kid is doing well. But, so, Smoke, you back now. And did you want to speak on Joshua Buatsi? Because I think he fell off before you got a chance to speak on him. And then Daniel Dubois.
Buatsi. I hate watching that guy fight, actually. It's just hard on the eyes. Just a bunch of clinching and fouling and stuff. Dubois, I like a lot. I like the guy a lot. The problem, like what you see as a positive, I see as probably maybe a net negative when it comes to the way that boxers are moved in England. I think they get way too much hype too fast, and then wind up coming to the States and get knocked out. And like not really panning out, not living up to the domestic hype that they garnered. So I'm hoping that Dubois actually stays back. Boone made a good point the other day. Like they may be moving him a little bit too fast with his rankings. Like being ranked number 7 in the WBC for where he is right now, to me is too much, too quick. I would move him a lot slower. But I like his basically what I see from him, I like. But I'd like to see it develop over time and get some more training in there, add some more wrinkles to his game. He's a young guy that has just a ton of upside. You were doing this juxtaposition about the U.S. versus the Brits. And while, they keep it in-house for a while, they keep it regional, but there is definitely there's a ceiling to the level of competition that's over there. So while they are matched early, and we do see guys who have shine fighting each other early, their skills haven't really developed and they haven't really come into their own yet. So on the flip side, the Americans, you may get guys who they build their tools up, but it's against guys that who shouldn't be able to hold their jock strap. So there's just not the parity in the fights aren't there as often.
I keep really kind of veering away from the Brits versus the Americans. I know that some things we're going to say are going to reference that, but I keep trying to veer away from that discussion because I don't really I don't want to get into that comparison. There's a lot of things that we can compare in that sense to kind of knock down the level of competition, and I get all of that, but I'm just trying to kind of stay in context that the British fighters and what they're going to do for Britain moving forward for British fighters, and not really comparing it to America in any level, because there are more opportunities here. The cameras, the promotions, there are things that the American fighters are afforded, and they will, the exposure and everything else, you know, just level of competition and so forth. So
it's a thing about training, but like I was saying, like even if you were to compare him to what the other like prospects have going on out there, I think maybe you may have a Hergovic, but yeah, his there's a Tony Yoka somewhere, lurking around doing his thing. I'm not sure how old Oscar Rivas is, but he's still a viable guy. I'm thinking that if he just if the way that he's developing and the kind of fights that they're putting him in, like slowly, gradually upping up the level of competition, I think he has a ton of potential. I think we'll see a lot of the guy in the future.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that when you look at these fighters, and let's step outside of the UK with this perspective for a second. When you look at these fighters outside of the US and they fight on the domestic level, they may fight some fighters from other countries, but not at the US level, right? Not in this arena. And then they come here. I don't necessarily think that it's too terrible to move these guys fast at the domestic level, because here's the reality of it. The domestic level isn't the highest. They're over there where they're at. It's not the highest level of boxing. So to move fast through that level and get to the top opponents at that level, I don't have much of a problem with that. I do agree with Smoke is when they get on the American, when they get to this level of boxing, maybe they should slow them down. Like they can move them up quickly through those ranks, but when they start fighting the fighters over here, maybe they should take their time when they get to that. I don't really have a problem with them moving fast at the domestic level, because that's just like what I say about Teofimo and Ryan and Devin Haney. I want to see them take on better fights early in their career. So we know that the level of boxing, let me get that, outside of the US, a lot of the boxers outside of the US, traditionally the boxers around them are not going to provide the level of competition you're going to get if you were fighting here statewide. So they can move them up the ranks quickly so that they can get to the best fighters on their level, which is the domestic level. And then when they get here, kind of ease them up the ranks, but still challenge them. Like, don't just shoot straight to Wilder because you beat everybody in England, but maybe you fight a Kalnaki and then a Ruiz or a Big Titty Miller and then a Ruiz and go for a championship and move them like that. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. But I don't really see a problem with them shooting up the ranks at a domestic level. But the hype behind it is the problem, Smoke. I agree with you. When you start ranking them high on the world level and putting all this hype behind them and then throw them in the ring with a world-class fighter, that's where you get yourself into trouble. So, because Dubois, and I've said this already on a couple of lives, and I don't care what people are saying about Wilder. I don't see putting Dubois in the ring with Wilder. I don't care what Tyson Fury. Daniel Dubois ain't no damn Tyson Fury, period, bro. And so, putting that kid in the ring with a Deontay Wilder is extremely dangerous. He doesn't have any kind of experience with fighters of the top 10 in the heavyweight division. And I don't care if it's Wilder or anybody else. And it's an extremely dangerous fight. So, Chad Ross said perfect example is Ryan Garcia Haney, Tank. They would be fighting each other right now. Exactly, D. Yeah, right. They would be. I really believe they would be. Showbiz, yeah. Black coffee, yeah. Showbiz is a trip. Martin Ramos in the building. What's good with you, Martin Ramos? Salute to you, fam. So yeah, Smoke. So Daniel Dubois, I think probably has if he gets past this Joe Joyce fight, you would agree that he has the most potential, right? Out of these guys that were on the list today, because a lot of these guys, I guess, you guys didn't really have a bunch of confidence in them, which, you know, I can understand. But just for anybody who's stepping in late, we were talking about the British boxers and the potential of them being British stars. And we talked about Archie Sharp and, you know, it was some confidence, but not much. And we talked about Sonny Edwards. We talked about Joe Cordina. We talked about Josh Kelly, which it was unanimous. Nobody really had any faith in Josh Kelly whatsoever. And we talked about Joshua Buatsi, and then we ended up on Daniel Dubois. And this is where we are now, Daniel Dubois. And I think that everybody would probably agree that Daniel Dubois probably has the most potential to be the next British star. Like he's pretty much at like star level already. Like, you know, he has a fan base. What do you think about that, Smoke? Would you say he's already at like star level already and he could be the next British superstar?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that he is he's an up and comer. To have your name known in boxing, there's so many fighters. Like if you just pointed out, like, you know,
remember, think about it now on a domestic level. And my question is this.
Domestically is a star, yeah.
Let me finish, because I don't want to go in no circle and then we get into some blown out fuss for nothing. At a domestic level in Britain, is he a star now and can be a future superstar in Britain? British superstar, British star. That's what we're talking about. Not world level, not American media, just Britain. That's the context.
Okay. That takes the entire thing away. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think I may have answered these questions incorrectly today. Sorry, guys.
I know.
For having to
I think most people did it because I probably wasn't clear enough. So I'll take the blame. Maybe I should have done a better job, been more clear in my description of what we were talking about. Because I think that's why when it would drift to the comparison of all the welterweights, and I would kind of try to pull it back because the idea was for Britain, you know, what they can do for the British. You know what I mean? That's what I was trying to.
Yeah. So you know, I think that they, you know, you have to understand the British system a little bit. And I'm not saying that I'm some expert in it, but I have been watching for a long time. Like, you know, I saw Prince Nassim, you know, come up in Britain. I saw Ricky Hatton come up in Britain. I watched Chris Eubank, all that stuff. Anyway, I say all that to say, you know, Luke Campbell is a pay-per-view draw against the right person in Britain and, you know, in the UK, right? You bring Loma over, that's a pay-per-view in the UK. They do actually support their guys. However, Josh Warrington is not really a pay-per-view star, right? It takes a certain combination of things, I think, to be a UK star. They definitely support their own, but to actually like break through, you know, to even the Kell Brooks status. Wow, yeah, Daniel Dubois, I think, is maybe already there as sort of a star, not like a superstar, but a star. You know, he's not pay-per-view just yet. But definitely everybody knows who he is. I think people who don't even follow boxing might know who Daniel Dubois is, right? They may just know him as a boxer,
right?
In the UK. Right? So yeah, as far as star quality goes in the UK, I would imagine that yes, he is an actual star, because if we're talking about him, then they're definitely talking about him.
Right. And you know, when you look at these guys on a domestic level, and even in the US, like a lot of times the fans of these fighters, they have higher hopes than the rest of the world may have of their guy. Like, let's take a look at Errol Spence, you know, and on the domestic level, the U.S. fans, they have especially a lot of Spence fans, they have higher hopes for Spence, you know, than what he may be able to produce. But real quick, Ness Mendoza in the building, and Ness Mendoza in the building. And one more time, my man Ness Mendoza in the building. What's good with you, Ness? Appreciate you. And so at a domestic level, the UK fans, you know, when we talk about the Buatsi and Josh Kelly and Sonny Edwards and, you know, Archie Sharp, you know, their hopes for their guy may be that he can get to that level. You understand what I'm saying? And he's doing well there, and they want to see them progress. And we all know that it has a lot to do with their matchmakers and their promoter and what they do when they get at world level and so forth. But this is how the British fans feel about them. And like you said too, Smoke, any of these guys, if we're talking about them here, then it's a good chance that they're at star level and could potentially be at superstar level for those guys in the UK if they continue to win. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, of all of them, I think the only guy who really has a shot at superstardom is Daniel Dubois. I think I gave her my my analysis for Lawrence or Coley, and gave it in for Joshua Buatsi, and yeah, they're not the same guy. Like, actually, Buatsi is he's decent. I like him. He switches levels well. He's got a very educated right hand. I like his hooks. I like the way he goes to the body. His body shot's real nice. But that doesn't change the fact that Daniel Dubois is probably the superstar of the crop. The only guy who really has a chance at superstardom. I mean, Buatsi he's nice. I don't know. I think his chin is gonna get found out. But for the British level, yeah, even British. No, he could probably do some damage on the local level, being a star, just staying there and moving him correctly. Yeah, Buatsi's he's got some stuff you can build around because he's got that power. But I think Daniel Dubois is his name. He's got the alliterative name, and he's a heavyweight, and he's a good-looking kid. He's affable, and it seems like he wants all the smoke and has the right attitude. Although Buatsi does too, but yeah, Dubois just has a bigger upside.
Oh, okay. Well, Saint Brit, and when I get stuff like this from you guys over in the UK, I don't much argue or like try to combat because I'm not over there with you guys, so I don't know exactly how the culture is. But Saint Brit says Smoke, and guys, we could be corrected because Smoke and I live in the US, so we're not acting like we know everything about you guys where you guys live at. But with all that being said, Saint Brit said the general UK people know who Du Bois is. He said he was disagreeing. He said that that's not true, and I was like, not true to what? He said that the general public, the UK public, know who Du Bois is. So, Saint Brit, are you saying that a lot of people don't know who Daniel Dubois is? Is that what you're telling us over there in the UK? And we got more UK fans, you guys in the chat. What are your guys? UK
my thought.
Go ahead. The UK fans that's in the chat, what are your guys' opinion? And the European fans as well. What are your guys' opinion about Daniel Dubois' notoriety? Do you guys feel he's known or not as well known as some Americans would think? You know what I mean? Ayal said, who is the general UK people? Well, Ayal, you over here, so you would know. Don't be questioning him on that.
Just to clarify, my thought was people would know who he is that aren't necessarily boxing fans in the UK. They may know him as a boxer, like someone would tell him that he's a boxer kind of thing, but still he may have some face and name recognition outside of people who follow the sport.
Right. Yeah. I get that. But I don't know. That's why, man, like I said, Eric Ferdinand and Zaros and all of these guys, where are they at? Mark, and I like to have those guys, Ring IQ, Boxing Librarian, not Ring IQ, but Boxing Librarian, Beats and Rhymes. Those guys like that. I like to have them over here on discussions like this because they know a lot more than I do. I know something about these boxers, but they know a lot more, and they could, fill in some holes. But and they're over there. They're over there in the UK. So big in boxing, not to cross over to general public yet. What do you mean by that? He said big in boxing, not crossed over to general public. Oh, okay. I got what you're saying, Uncle Bernard. He said their names are big in boxing, but they haven't crossed over to the public attention yet. Yeah. I can agree with that. And that might be the case. And because we're not over there in the UK for, to see how it is over there, I would just assume that if I'm talking about some of these guys over here, guys that I didn't have to research, or look up who they fought. I won't lie, Archie Sharp, I didn't know as much about him, but or Sonny Edwards. I knew who Sonny Edwards was because of his brother. I know about Charlie Edwards, but I didn't know much about who Sonny Edwards fought. As far as Dubois is concerned, Buatsi, Josh Kelly, and Cordina, I actually knew about those guys. But with that being said, the UK fans know more about these guys. So Josh Kelly and Cordina and Edwards and Archie Sharp and Buatsi, they know more about if these guys could actually be stars or eventually be stars in the UK, and do they have the potential to move outside of the UK and defeat some of these guys outside of the domestic level? They would have more insight to that. The only thing that I can do is go watch these guys fight and see what they're doing in the ring. And some of these guys look extremely impressive to me. And not only that, when I compare them to guys that's fighting in America, I mean, you can be fighting in America, but if you're fighting, as they say, tomato cans and taxi drivers, then what difference is it of them fighting outside of America? It's no difference. You guys are fighting low-level boxers. You're all fighting low-level boxers, and we're basically just judging your potential. That's what I see. I don't see it any different just because you're fighting low-level boxers in the UK and you fighting low-level boxers in America. They're all low-level boxers. They're ranked 500 for some reason or another because they don't have the skill level. And so I don't hold it much against them. I rank and compare these guys to our domestic stars if they haven't done as much, But Saint Britt said, yes, only boxing fans know him. That's it. Oh, okay. And Uncle Vernon possibly said he was talking about the boys. Oh yeah, I got you. Go ahead, Smoke.
Yeah, like I said, it's low level is that's one way to describe them, but there's even you take a Boots Ennis, right? Right. Boots Ennis, he's still, what did he fight? The number 3 guy in Turkey or something like that. It's still, it's not just the sparring against guys that you get. It's also, we get everybody in the world. We get it's just a different level than just fighting the guys who are ranked in Britain.
Right. Right. So Pablo said it's not like he won a medal in the Olympics or something, so only boxing people know him. And I know you would think that, bro. But I mean, think about it, Pablo. Errol Spence and other guys, they went to Deontay Wilder. He won a bronze medal in the Olympics. Nobody fucking still knew who he was. You know what I mean? And in America, there's a lot of Olympic gold medal winners that people don't know who they are. People seriously don't know who they are. So it's sad, but it's so. Unfortunate case, but Olympics don't always make you a superstar. And you would think if you battling in the Olympics for the country that you should have recognition all over the country. I think that's reasonable, but just don't work that way. But yeah, I feel you, Pablo. So with all this being said, I guess sometimes, guys, I guess and no disrespect to Smoke, actually much respect to Smoke, intangible and unbiased, because when I brought up certain guys, they said they didn't know much about them. So I would say on the part of D. Jefferson speaking about sports talk, maybe I should do a better job of inviting guests that know more about the fighters that I'm speaking of. And if not, then hold that topic on another day if they can't make it. Like Unrivaled, or Beats has been on here a couple of times, and Boxing Librarian is supposed to come chat with me, and when he gets to town, I'm sure he will. But maybe I'll set up a live like that when I talk about different fighters, and they'll have more information than I have to give, because I had plenty of information to give about this topic, but it's always good to feed off of the other guys on the panel, like, Raider, who's just coming in at the end, and Smoke, and Unbiased, and Tangible, IBT, and so forth, the guys, because I want to hear from you guys, Boxing Minds, too. And all of you Speaking Mind Sports Talk family members, this mic shot, you don't have to show your face. You come on here like Smoke. You come on here like Get This Smoke. And, oops, my bad, Smoke. Yeah, but you come on here like Get This Smoke and just show your icon. You don't have to show your face like D. Jeff shows his face every day. I mean, but anyhow, man, you guys come join the panel, get in with the discussion. I would like to hear what you guys have to say and what your thoughts are on, whatever topic we decide to talk about. I have my thoughts. I think that at the British level, a lot of these guys could become stars. They're just going to have to keep winning. Some of these guys will have to revamp what it is, concerning the way they fight, like, Josh Kelly and Joe Cordina. They don't have the power, the styles that they fight with, and the way they fight. It appears that they have more power. They believe they have more power than they're really doing. So they need to change some of those things up. You know what I mean? But again, I think it's really good topic. It's I just want to make sure that we talk about different things here. Like I said, sometimes I run a D-Donut shop in the morning, or I might, like today, I may run another live later, and we'll talk about the things that everybody else is talking about. Me and Smoke might get into a back and forth on that live, or me and somebody else, or smoking somebody else. Who knows? We'll always have those kind of lives as well, but need to tune into something, I think, every day that's different from what everyone else is talking about. So, guys, my bad. I'll get, somebody who knows a lot more than I do, or the rest of us do, because nobody knows everything. I don't know everything. Smoke don't. Mark don't. Nobody knows everything. But I think overall it was a good discussion. And I think some of these guys have a good chance at, being future British stars, possibly even superstars. Daniel Dubois, I think he's right there. And he may be there soon. But it's hard to say. For my man Archie Sharp, Sonny Edwards, Joe Cordina, Josh Kelly, Joshua Buatsi. Guys, who knows? But all of these young fighters have the potential of being superstars, British superstars, to bring in the British integrity, win some belts, hold it down for the UK. Pablo says, yes, but we talking about right now, Spence won a medal in the Olympics. But in the U.S., you have a lot of sports. You need to be, good at the highest level. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can't just win a medal. You got to win the best medal. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, two things. Just to give a little bit of context to that statement. A, you can win the best medal and still not be the biggest draw like Andre Ward, and Spence did not win a medal.
Yeah, I was commenting more on the Martin Machine, what's good? What's good with you, fam? Appreciate you coming through. Smoke, yeah, I don't always break down everything. I was really commenting more on the point of the comment. You know what I mean? The basis of what.
That's what I was saying. I was saying like just the point of the comment. You know, like even if you win the best medal in boxing, it doesn't really mean a ton here.
But it helps.
Yeah, it helps. It helps with the marketing early. It helps with the marketing early. Yeah, if you have, but you definitely need a fan-friendly style to go along with your medal.
Yeah, you do. You need other things coupled with it. But if you win a bronze and you win a gold, that's the point. So I think that was the point of not if he was correct about Spence winning or whatever. You know what I'm saying, bro? I was just kind of speaking on the point of what he was saying. And I agree with that point. If you win a gold medal, it helps your chances of being known much, much more than just winning a medal in the Olympics. So I think
is Ward the last guy to win a gold?
You say
I
what?
can't even think of another guy. Is Ward the last U.S. guy to win a gold? That's the only guy I can even think
of. In boxing?
Yeah.
I don't, bro. Look, I'm gonna tell you like this. I
can't think of another. Anyway, just wondering.
Started allowing pros to come in and all of the rigmarole start happening with the Olympics. I have not followed the Olympics as hard as I used to. Because, you know, they're taking the pride out of the Olympics with a lot of the bullshit that's going on. I mean, it's beginning be more and more of a money racket than ever before. And that's what's going on. People don't understand that about the Olympics, but that's what's going on with the Olympics. It's starting to be more and more of a money racket every Olympics that they hold. And it's starting to kind of drain the pride from watching it and rooting for your country. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of fell back on the all Olympics and all of that and the prestige in it and all of that kind of stuff. But hey, maybe that's another topic, you know. What happened to American amateurs? Just pride in the sport, bro. And you know,
they changed the age. They changed the age limit. They changed the age limit for Olympics, and so a lot of the young guys just started going pro.
Yeah, that too. And then that's what I was about to go toward to speak on that. St. Brit in this country, and I was really going to speak on Smoke kind of segued into that. But in this country, the problem with amateur level in this country, St. Brit, not just with boxing, is that they're starting to provide money for these younger guys where they wouldn't have gotten it in the past unless they made the pro level. And so that's what's going on at the amateur level in this country when it comes to major sports altogether. If it's not endorsements or some jackass fucking scout or promotional company or something, they're throwing money at these guys earlier. So it kind of kills the thirst and desire to earn and dedicate and fight and claw your way up because they can get certain things earlier. And that's what's going on to the amateur level in sports in this country, not just boxing. I think that should clear it up some. But what you think about that concept, Smoke? What do you think about what I just said? You agree with that or disagree or what?
Yeah, it's two things. It's not only the amount of money that a amateur can make by going pro, it's also the competition, like in these countries where the state is basically subsidizing their fighters, so these guys aren't amateurs anyway. So they're basically, these amateur guys in other countries are making more money than the American guys are making who are turning pro. You know what I mean? It's just a completely different system when it comes to, you know, it's country by country, and also just what Americans expect from their athletes, like you were saying, in every kind of sport. If you're a basketball player and you're a certain degree of proficiency, even at 16 and 17, you can expect, you know, 5 to 7 figures. Yeah, your audio's off, D. Yeah, that's mine is off. It's either yours or mine.
No, I was mine. You was right. I just looked down at it. But you know, guys, like a lot of you guys here are boxing fans, but you know I do basketball as well. And I put Zion Williamson is in the situation, certain, you know, to what we're talking about, you know, he's being sued by a promotional company, but they're trying to get him to admit that he took money. He took money. He took money from scouts and from the Duke organization and from execs at the rival promotional company that they're in a lawsuit with. And this is what happens, guys. And Zion Williamson, let's understand, guys, he didn't go the college route. He went 1 year at Duke, one and done rule is what they have in the NBA right now, the one and done. So he did 1 year at Duke, and then he went into the NBA. And so they're saying that going into Duke and while at Duke, he was taking payoffs. And the thing, so you have this going on in this country, and that's what's really, they're looking at a lot of these kids in sports at the recreation level, guys, before they even get to, and this is the truth, like they're already going after some of these kids. They go into their families and they say, we see a lot of potential in this kid at the recreation level before they even get to high school, before they even get to the college level. These people are already approaching their parents. We're going to keep an eye on him. If he keeps doing well, you know, and they start sliding the money, you know, little gift cards and shit like that, free shoes. And next thing you know, they're giving them thousands of dollars to lead them in a certain direction. And all of that's illegal. Go ahead, Smoke.
Oh no, I was just gonna mention the Ball family. They left high school, and college to go play pro ball.
Right.
They're 16 and 18 years old.
Right. And you know, and the culture, a lot of parents are promoting this. It's not even just in sports, it's in entertainment, period. And you know, I don't care about the television reports because, like I said, television reports, they feed you what they want you to believe. But when you look at another field of entertainment outside of sports, and you know, blessings, and it's unfortunate to the accident, to the incident and what happened to a lot of these girls in the R. Kelly case. But let's be real about this. A lot of their parents put their children in that position because they was thirsty for that stardom. They was allowing to let those girls go out to California with R. Kelly. You letting your 16 and 17-year-old daughter go out there because you're thirsty as a parent for her to succeed in stardom. That's what happens in this country. And people want that so much that they'll you know, forget about dedication and hard work. I can get the money. That's the culture. And it kills the amateur level. A lot of that type of shit kills the amateur level here because there's no more desire to really make it. You know what I mean? Even though maybe the other dude again who got mad that last show, someone disagreed. Oh, yeah, but it's all good. I mean, some people get mad, some people don't. It's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, guys, so I'm getting ready to shut it down. Smoke, give me some final thoughts. Spammer, okay, this guy's definitely surfing. Yeah, that's Boxing Monster, man. Boxing Monster is he's the dawn of the Speaking Mind Sports Talk. No disrespect to Boxing Monster Pablo. He'll kick you out, though. Well, Smoke, give me some final thoughts, bro. I think it was a good discussion.
You know, there's some good stuff happening in the UK. There's not really, you know, I don't see the next Ricky Hatton, Prince Nassim, AJ guy out of this crop. But yeah, Daniel Dubois got something going on. Buatsi's got something cool happening. And yeah, that icon is my face. It's my last haircut before the COVID. I'm looking forward to getting the barber in here and doing the do. So I'm looking quite fuzzy, but yeah, guys, come join the panel. I'd love to hear what the UK has to say about the UK.
It ain't hard for me to stay clean. All I gotta do is shave this bean. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, always joining.
Oh me. Yeah, your hair ended early, huh? That fight ended early. Didn't go all 12, huh?
Yeah, I kept it to 39, 40. And then I started losing it in the middle. So I had a good run. 14 years. I had dreads all the way down my back and shit to my
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that'll do it. That all that pressure on your skin. Yeah, that'll do it, definitely.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, guys, thank you, Smoke, for joining the discussion. I will say this about these young stars. As I was saying earlier, I try my best. There's a lot of variables and factors, the level of competition, what's provided, who they have around them, and so forth. But I always look at prospects as prospects. We don't know what they are or what they're not until they actually get in there with the top fighters at world level. We can only see what they do, the skills they show in the ring against who's in front of them. If they show feint and slight head movements, to me, these guys are showing that they at least have the ability to get off a center line. I'm biased. Boxing Talk said no, it's all good, bro. I appreciate you coming on. Well, to me, that shows that they at least have the ability and the know-how to get off a center line. If they can navigate the ring well, without tripping over themselves, maintain balance, transition their weight. They're starting off with at least good footwork and decent ring generalship. If they put their combinations together well, utilize their jab, feints, work the body. I look for all of these things in young fighters, and no matter who they have in front of them, because let's remember, they're all prospects. So until they get to fight these guys at the world level, we really don't know too much more about any of them because they're still all prospects. But if they show me these certain attributes, and if they show me these skills in the ring, and they show me that they can utilize lateral movement, they do little sudden head movements and dips to stay off a center line. They can utilize that jab, whether it be a pawing jab, a stiff jab, a jab for range finder. If they can utilize feints, if they incorporate these things, good body movement, these are the things that I look for in these young fighters. And if they show me that, then I just say, until proven wrong, they show promise. Whether it be a Ryan Garcia over here in the United States, or whether it be a Sonny Edwards over here in the UK. To me, none of these guys have fought the top guys at world level, so I'll give them all the respect until they do. And with that being said, you got Daniel Dubois, you got Sonny Edwards, you got Joe Cordina, Josh Kelly, Joshua Buatsi. Maybe any of these guys could be the next British superstar, future star, or some type of star. But they do show promise, and these guys show some good signs in the ring, and it's up to their trainers and their promoters concerning their stardoms and what they'll do in the future. So thanks all you guys for joining the panel, and thanks to all of you guys for joining the discussion. Another Speaking Mind Sports Talk Live Daily coming every day, guys, Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock. Y'all know how I always in this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.